Pokemon is a bit of a situation over here. Ever since they moved away from our pockets into our living room, they've had a hard time sticking their landing, with their latest release being a disastrous, glitch-infested mess of a game that even gave Nintendo a headache. And while it's fun and try to come up with how my perfect Pokemon game would be, like I did in another video over here, I think I got an idea that might remedy that in a more practical way. Problem is that this potential fix has somewhat of an expiration date, and that might be closer than we think. June 11th, 2019.
And so what that means for Pokemon Sword and Shield is that players will be able to transfer their Pokemon from Pokemon Home only if they appear in the Galar region Pokedex. So we were very careful. We spent a lot of time really thinking what the best selection of Pokemon to match the setting of the adventure would be.
That was the deck set. Until this point in history, even if a Pokemon was not catchable in the wild, it would be still coded in the game, so you can transfer it from past generations to newer ones. That would not be the case anymore for Pokemon Sword and Shield, and any future releases for that matter. Only a select handful of Pokemon would even be programmed in the game themselves, and you could only bring your old partners if they made the cut. Now, if you are anything like me, and I mean you probably are since YouTube recommended you this video, that was the exact moment that you fell off of the franchise. I've been playing Pokemon since Fire Red, and I instantly got hooked, getting every subsequent release, bringing my partners with me from one to the next. Here, this is my copy of Pokemon Sun, the last Pokemon I bought myself. And this is my Charizard, all the way from Pokemon Fire Red. Now, like, sure, you could argue that Charizard is gonna be forever present in every Pokemon game, like, ever, since he's the most popular Pokemon out there. But what about, Greninja? What about, Togekiss? What about a freaking Sigilyph? I mean, there's so many other examples, but the matter of the fact is that every Pokemon is someone's favorite. And once you can't bring that anymore with you, what even is the point? Like, I know that Pokemon in actuality are nothing more than just strings of code in a piece of software. They might as well just be Digimon for all intents and purposes. But some of these guys have been with me for, I don't know, 20 years. Oh my god, I'm so old. But just thinking about letting them rot in a glorified storage system, gambling on the chance for them to be available in the next game, that doesn't sit well with me. Now, to play devil's advocate here, that cut in the number of Pokemons available in the game was bound to happen at some point, especially with the number of Pokemon reaching the thousands. But I just don't think the whole situation was handled in the best way possible. And that's why I want you to take a look at this. Yes, I am proposing for Pokemon Home to have its own built-in battle simulator, where you could just use all the Pokemon you have deposited there to battle anyone online. Oh, come on, chill, hear me out first. Okay, thanks. I've been thinking about this for a while now, and I've tinkered enough with this idea that I think it might just work. And not work just for us as players, but for Pokemon Company as well. So, have you ever heard of Pokemon Showdown? If you're a Pokemon fan, chances are that, yeah, you've stumbled with it at some point. It's basically a Pokemon battle simulator that you can play inside your browser. There you can create from scratch your dream team of Pokemon, from species to stats, moves, EVs and IVs, all of that, and battle anyone in the world in singles, doubles, I think even triples, you name it. And let me tell you, it's freaking awesome, seriously. Check it out if you haven't already. It's free, it's open source, and it's maintained by the community. It's just awesome, everything awesome. But like, it has a couple of rough edges. Sorry if I'm the first one to say that, but it does. Okay, first off, it's very ugly. It's like a hodgepodge of different art styles and assets. Like, please, Pokemon Showdown, get a real good graphic designer. But hey, we can cut some slack because second, it's not official at all. So the Pokemon we've got in the games, no dice, unless you painstakingly recreate them in Showdown's engine. Which is, okay, that's basically what I did. And there's a reason why Pokemon Company has not taken down Pokemon Showdown yet. Yes, it would start a war with their most passionate fans that regularly use Showdown to test out new strategies, but just imagine if Pokemon Company themselves could have their own version of Pokemon Showdown at their fingertips. After all your Pokemon are kinda already sitting home just waiting to be used, they got all the moves, animations, stats, and everything else that you need to get the battle system started. So like, let's put that out to good use, and let's cook how that battle simulator would look like. So, point number 1. You gotta bring your own Pokemon from the mainline games into home to use them in the battle simulator. So like, no creating creators from thin air like you can do in Showdown, nah, we're keeping it legit. That way, players still gotta roll up their sleeve, catch, breed, and train Pokemon in the main games themselves. I think it would give titles like Legends Arceus a real boost since it focuses more on the single player experience. And future games could lean more into the story, while home just handles the online battle side of things. But put an asterisk on that point for now. Point number 2, no gimmicks. So, forget about Mega Evolutions, Dynamaxing, Z-moves, terrestrializing or whatever, not only because I believe that Pokemon Company would want this specific version of the battle system to be its own thing, but that way Game Freak can keep throwing new tricks into the main games to keep them fresh. And home just stay as a side gig, not stealing the spotlight. Basically in Home's battle simulator the battles will be the classic Braum prior to Generation 6. So much so that, point number 3, no items. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right, since Pokemon Home doesn't do item transfers anyway, and sure, it might seem like we are simplifying things too much, but I'm getting into something with this, hear me out. Without items, we are doing what Konami did with Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. I don't know if you heard of Duel Links before, but if you're a Pokemon fan, chances are that you are kinda into Yu-Gi-Oh! I think. Anyway, Duel Links was a huge case of success on how to revive an IP for the modern gaming landscape. Just by streamlining Yu-Gi-Oh's duel mechanics, it brought back old fans and got some new ones along the way. In fact, Pokemon Company themselves are copying the success of Duel Links right now with their new TCG mobile app, Pocket. So like, why not apply the same logic to Pokemon's classic battle system? And by the end of the day, we end up with a system that's pretty darn close to what Pokemon Legends Arceus did, plus abilities, so. Which brings us to point number 1.5. Let's have some rental Pokemon, a la Battle Evolution, and a free-to-play option to capture that blue ocean market. And finally, for point number 4, we have to change Freeze and Sleep to Frostbite and Drowsy from Legends Arceus. Look, no matter how deep you've got your head up VGCS, nobody likes stall tactics. Yeah, and that's it, really. Of course, we don't need to stay in singles. I would like at least double battles to see the light of the day in this. And all that's left really is to create a battle party, kinda like the Wonder Box, but for competitive play instead of trading. This addition alone would have me breaking the bank for Pokemon Home. And speaking of breaking the bank, on the 8th of April of 2024, Nintendo shut down the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U's eShops for good. And while you can still access Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Transporter for that matter, there's just no way of knowing how long that will go. And without it, the Pokemon stuck in my copy of Pokemon Sun will be forever stuck. And if that ever happens, that will be a sad, sad day. But I mean, let's keep our hopes up that they will eventually add some sort of value to Pokemon Home. And sure, I guess I could go on and on how to make Pokemon Home this ultimate hub for all your Pokemon adventures, like letting you create your own player avatar for that personal touch or whatever, but all I really want is a quick and fun battle system. But what about you? Would you like if Pokemon Company did something like this, or is it just me? Drop down a comment below and let me know. Like, really, let me know. I really want to know if I'm dead out of the loop on this. And if you made it this far, try checking out this video on screen right now. I'm Pedro from Nintendo, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye!
De Pokémon, junto com o Guaraná Antártica caçulinha que você adora, você leva uma incrível miniatura do Pokémon surpresa. São 40 diferentes.